Artificial intelligence no longer just predicts the weather or translates languages. Now it's taking control of money. Yes, you heard that right. Algorithms are governing decentralized finance, a universe where there are no banks, no intermediaries, and every transaction is executed in seconds with laser-like precision. Today, more than $120 billion are locked in DeFi platforms, and every day, AI systems move capital that exceeds the annual GDP of entire countries. It's the new language of money, fast, automatic, and unstoppable. What we are witnessing is not a simple advancement. It's the greatest financial revolution since the invention of the internet. And the question is clear: how do these digital brains that are already controlling the wealth of the future actually work? The birth of a financial brain. Imagine a market that never sleeps, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no bosses, no offices, no banks, just code. That's how DeFi works. And when we inject artificial intelligence into this system, something extraordinary happens. The machines don't just process, they learn. Algorithms read millions of operations in seconds, detect patterns invisible to the human eye, and execute movements with surgical precision. Where a broker once needed minutes to analyze a trend, AI now does it in milliseconds. A clear example: algorithmic trading on Ethereum. In a single day, an AI system can analyze the history of more than 1.2 million transactions and adjust strategies in real time. No human could compete with that speed. The impact is brutal. While the average investor gets an annual return of 5% in the traditional stock market, AI-powered DeFi systems have recorded peaks of up to 300% in a single year. Is this the end of human brokers? Or the beginning of a collaboration where artificial intelligence becomes the invisible hand of the market? Smart contracts, smart decisions. The strength of this revolution is not just in investments, it's in the contracts. Smart contracts were already innovative, automatic agreements that are fulfilled without lawyers or notaries. But with AI, these contracts stop being rigid and start to think. Example: a DeFi loan contract could block your funds if the value of your collateral fell. Now, with AI, the contract adjusts the risk in real time, proposes alternatives, and even automatically optimizes interest rates. In MakerDAO, for example, algorithms supervise billions of dollars in reserves and adjust stability rates as if they were a global banker, but without banks. What's impressive is that these decisions are already more efficient than the financial regulation of several countries. Today, a smart contract can decide in seconds what used to require months of bureaucrats, boards of directors, and endless paperwork. Insurance that predicts the future. Imagine contracting insurance where the policy changes before you even know something could go wrong. That's the power of AI applied in DeFi. Traditionally, insurance is slow, full of clauses and endless phone calls. But in the decentralized ecosystem, smart contracts analyze thousands of data points instantly, from the weather to health history or market movements. Example: Nexus Mutual, one of the largest decentralized insurance platforms, already handles policies that cover failures in DeFi protocols. With AI, risk detection becomes almost prophetic. The algorithms can identify vulnerabilities in a contract before hackers act. The result is amazing. A system that adjusts premiums in seconds, automatically pays claims, and reduces fraud by more than 70% compared to traditional insurers. Instead of waiting months for a claim, a user can receive a payment in minutes. We're talking about insurance that doesn't just react, it anticipates. Loans without banks, trust. Without borders money, in essence, has always needed trust. But today, that trust is no longer in a banker in a suit, but in an algorithm. Decentralized lending platforms like Aave or Compound already distribute billions in credit every year. The impressive thing is that, with AI, these loans become completely personalized products. An algorithm analyzes your history in seconds, your transactions, your payment patterns, your risk level. And instead of a fixed rate, it automatically adjusts the loan terms to fit your exact profile. Concrete example: while a traditional bank can take up to 3 weeks to approve a loan, a DeFi system with AI does it in less than 3 minutes. The difference is so brutal that in countries with inefficient financial systems, these loans are already serving as the gateway for millions of people excluded from the banking system. And the most fascinating thing? There are no borders. A young person in Argentina can receive a loan from funds coming from an investor in Japan, all in seconds, without knowing each other, without paperwork, and with security guaranteed by algorithms. Credit stops being a privilege and becomes a digital right. Risk management? The eye that never blinks. The heart of every financial system is risk, and there, AI becomes a relentless guardian. A brutal example: algorithms that monitor liquidity in real time. If they detect that an asset is losing value, they execute movements in microseconds to prevent massive losses. On platforms like DYDX, AI can calculate more than 10 million risk scenarios per second, something no traditional financial firm could match. This means that the decentralized market is not only faster, it's also safer. While a traditional bank relies on weekly reports, in DeFi, the vigilance is constant, uninterrupted, almost omnipresent. A digital eye that never gets tired, never sleeps, and never forgets. From farm to code, farmers connected to AI. The revolution isn't only happening in digital Wall Street. It's also in the fields, where a farmer with a mobile phone can access the same financial tools as an investor in Silicon Valley. Real example: farming communities in Africa are already using AI-powered smart contracts to secure their harvests. Before, a farmer could lose everything if a drought ruined production. Today, a contract analyzes satellite weather data in real time, and if it detects a drought, it automatically activates an insurance payment. The result? Money in the farmer's account in a matter of hours. What was once a tragedy is now resilience. In numbers, while 80% of farmers in developing countries have never had access to traditional insurance, DeFi platforms with AI have already secured thousands of hectares of crops. A historic turning point? From financial exclusion to digital empowerment. Smart cities, smart currencies. We are no longer just talking about individuals. We are talking about entire communities experimenting with decentralized currencies controlled by algorithms. In Switzerland, several small cities have tested local tokens managed by AI. The system analyzes the local economy and adjusts the value of the digital currency to incentivize commerce among neighbors. The result? A growth in local consumption of up to 30% in 6 months, according to reports from the city councils themselves. The same is happening in Latin America, where entire neighborhoods have created community currencies that run on smart contracts. Without banks, without uncontrolled inflation, without corruption. Just algorithms designed to maintain stability. An AI-connected city not only manages streets and traffic lights, it also manages its wealth, distributes incentives, and protects citizens from the turbulence of the global market. The impact is so profound that some experts are already talking about a future urban financial intelligence, where each city will be its own digital central bank. Global inclusion, from the excluded to the protagonist. Today, more than 1.4 billion people in the world do not have access to a bank account. They are invisible to the financial system. But with AI and DeFi, that barrier is breaking down. Concrete example: platforms that allow instant microcredits to independent workers. A seller in the Philippines can request a $50 loan to expand their business and repay it in a matter of days, with minimal interest and flexible conditions thanks to intelligent risk analysis. In comparison, a traditional bank would not even open the door for such a small loan. But in the algorithmic world, every person matters, every data point counts, every transaction adds up. Financial inclusion is no longer a promise from governments or international banks. It is a reality programmed in open source code. And perhaps the most fascinating thing, every new user who connects strengthens the network, feeds the algorithms, and accelerates the evolution of the system. What we are witnessing is not a temporary experiment. It is a transformation that is already etched in the history of humanity. Artificial intelligence is not only empowering decentralized finance, it is redesigning what money itself means. Before, power was in bank vaults, on regulators' desks, in Wall Street towers. Today, that power flows in invisible data networks, in algorithms that work tirelessly, in contracts that execute without asking for permission. We're talking about a system where borders vanish, where a farmer in Kenya, a programmer in Mexico, and a student in India can access the same network of opportunities. A system that does not distinguish passport, social class, or language. Only data, only mathematical trust. And there is the true revolution. Money stops being a privilege to become a universal language. The numbers say it all. More than $120 billion are already locked in DeFi protocols. Every month, hundreds of thousands of new users connect. And artificial intelligence algorithms, with their ability to analyze millions of variables per second, make everything faster, more efficient, and more inclusive. What once seemed like science fiction is now routine. Insurance that activates on its own, loans that arrive in minutes, currencies that adjust their value in real time. Bureaucracy, paperwork, endless queues, they are becoming relics of an analog past. For the first time in centuries, trust in money no longer depends on human institutions, but on incorruptible equations. The impact of AI in DeFi will not be limited to investments or credit. Researchers are already talking about autonomous economies, complete ecosystems that function without governments or banks, where every decision is made by artificial intelligence and every transaction is public, transparent, and instantaneous. Imagine a world where taxes are collected and distributed automatically, without evasion or corruption, where natural disasters trigger immediate aid, where every person on the planet, from a child in a remote village to an entrepreneur in New York, has access to the same financial system. That is not a distant dream. It is a future that has already begun to be written in open source code, line by line, algorithm after algorithm. AI in decentralized finance is not just a tool. It is the birth of a new digital civilization. A world where money is no longer controlled by banks, but by the collective intelligence of millions of interconnected machines. And the final question is not whether this will happen. The real question is, are you prepared to live on a planet where money no longer obeys men, but artificial intelligence? Let us know in the comments.